Are we good? Are we live?
Making sure things work. Waiting, updating, connecting.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm on it.
That's terrible.
Is
that better? That's better. Okay. Okay. Good? Better? Closer? Farther? We're not good at this.
More.
Okay.
Okay. Is that great?
I think so. All right, somebody let us know if you can hear us.
Audio check, please. We even got the computer working. This is fancy. That doesn't mean it's going to stay working. At any moment, the computer may totally lose internet connection. It may not reconnect. The card is failing, plus some other things.
Okay, we've got sound. Oh, thanks, Mom.
Sweet. You can always count.
Always count on my mom. No, okay, we're good. We're going.
There was a thing. There was something on the internet. Something jokes about the mother-in-law, and I just sighed, and I'm like, I can't even do that. I actually like her. Like, I can't even claim terrible mother-in-law things, and she's something. I just can't. She's actually. Yeah. So hi.
All right. Sunday night.
So we'll start with some randomness and news, I guess, before we get into the questions. We'll give some time. People build, stack, show up, enter, congregate, aggregate. You're not helping. Well, let's see. So we just put up a video today. Did it go up yet?
We just put it up. Yes.
We.
I did just put it up.
Which was the vlog.
Yeah.
The super mega vlog. It's not called that, unfortunately. I did try. Yeah. That's apparently too manly of a name.
It wasn't too manly. It was just too goofy.
Super mega vlog.
Oh boy.
It's like
46 minutes.
Yeah, it's 46. But it's we decided instead of trying to cram a vlog into a day. And do a bunch of things that be interesting for a day.
We're just not that interesting every day.
We do a lot of repetitive stuff. So instead of trying to, we did the entire week, and it was one of those. If it's something repetitive, we just left it out. That doesn't mean we didn't do it. Trust me, we did a whole lot of stuff that wasn't on there, but we thought it's slightly more varied. It's worth it. Everyone, please check it out. Tell us what you think of the week vlog style thing. It covers a lot of ground of what's going on. So there was that.
We also put up the flooding in Ecuador video.
Oh boy.
Which is not stopped.
No, the flooding continues. We actually one of our viewers is down there and put up a comment on our video of what's happened to her, and it was just wow.
It's been terrible.
Yeah. It's really been bad. And we look at the other channels and we're like, everything's great and peachy and wonderful. Nobody's talking about people are losing their roads, their lives, their livestock. They're it's intense. So we got that. Let's see. We just had our great battery catastrophe miracle fix video, which I was so pleased about. As a mechanic, you always enjoy having some terrible, horrible problem that is a nightmare, and you finally dig into it and find out it is the simplest and dumbest of things. And you're
you were so nervous to do it, to tear apart our batteries. That's our lifeline. Oh my god!
With lithium cells,
there's danger to it.
You build them once, you put them together, you squeeze them, you put them in their place. You don't ever touch them again. You walk quietly by them, you leave them alone, and they last a long time. So when something goes wrong and you have to make some sort of change to the pack and like
Scary.
uncompress it and change something and recompress, there's danger. Like there's things could go wrong weeks in the future. Yep, loose nut. No idea why.
That's such a goofy.
Being as simple as a speck of like a bit of like the copper bus bar that got caught underneath like a piece of sand. So it tightened and squeezed against it, and then over time that piece flattened. And by flattening, it took the tension off the nut. That's my guess. Nothing's broken, nothing's wrong. Tighten it down. Battery came back. Capacity, all of like just literally in the next charge.
Totally solve the problem.
We don't have spares. We don't have the money to buy spares. We're really on a hope and a prayer with the battery and the inverter of we tried to buy good stuff. Please last us some time because there is no backup.
Yeah. I was very pleased. That was such an easy fix.
Yes.
Oh, phew.
So we got that.
Yep.
What else did we have going on around here?
More walls, which I know is boring, but it's also awesome.
It's on the vlog.
It's every day.
It's like we could just do. Again, our poorness shows here. We tried to do like ASMR kind of video about daubing.
Which was still a cool video, but our microphone
sucks, and there's nothing locally. We'll have to import something, and to buy a good one, it's like $200, which is $200 plus it. Like
all the importing. Yeah.
Actually, it's free over $100 for Amazon now. They do over $99. It's free shipping,
which is cool.
But I'm like $200. That's 2 weeks of everything for us. Food, animal food,
so
things,
it's definitely
stuff.
not something we can do.
That's our and right now we're still working on money for this week. Like we just went to the market. We're good for this week, but that's it.
1 week at a time. We have to sell another pig, and then we'll have another week.
We have one pig left to sell, and that'll get us one more week. And then after that, we're like,
no, we'll find some other answer because we always do.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we were the walls, smooch.
Anyway, with a really nice microphone, I think it would be an incredible video. To be in person and listen to the visceral sound of just the mud and clay itself, just squishing. And thwacking and smooching and things, and like to hear it go together. So I tried to do that, and it is what it is, to the limits of our technology.
But that's
shot with a 7-year-old phone with a failing screen and processed on a 12-year-old computer with a failing everything.
We do pretty good.
At one point we may disappear, and I'm sorry.
If we disappear, it's because something has catastrophically failed, or all the things have failed.
Yeah.
But the house is coming together.
It is, little by little.
Walls are going up, which is really cool.
So I got to the point where I've been cutting, all of our own lumber, and I've been like chainsaw cutting, and then trying to go in and like sand pieces sort of fine enough. And I'm just making window casings that I can push screens into, so they have to be pretty flat, and I got them ish flat, and I'm like, I can fudge that. I can put in the window screens, and we're gonna like mud them in, so it doesn't have to be too exact.
They need to be more exact than they've been, I think.
It would be better if they were more exact. So finally, I'm like, well, I have a jointer that we brought with us from the Tennessee house project. It is nearing 90 plus years old, like legitimately. I bought it very used from a guy who got it from his grandfather, who may have bought it new back in the like 30s, 40s, 50s. We don't know. It's old. So it's just an old piece of like heavy cast iron joiner. I'm fine with that. So we pulled it out. It's of course the deck is rusted again in our humidity. Sand it all down. Get the rust off, re-wax and polish the surfaces, made some adjustments, fixed a couple of things. If you hear weird high-pitched noise, it's katydids, which are like grasshoppery things just outside. If they get real bad, I'll go out with the hose and like try to scare them or something. Or you can.
They happen occasionally.
Anyway, so got it out, did some tune-up stuff, and then went through and reset the blades, which is a very fine affair of like straight edges and steel and measuring and things. And you're trying to get them to within a thousandth of an inch by like gently lifting and moving them, and then just tightening nuts, and then they move some more. That one's probably going to be on there. You want to go try to squirt it? Bug patrol. So it's old school. Like newer stuff, like you put it in and the blade just keys in and it's exactly right, and like everything's great. So I finally got it like just right. I'm measuring it. I'm like, okay, and I took a piece of wood and I ran it through, and it is a mirror. It is gorgeous. Like it is just a mirror finish. Flip it on its next side, run it again. Perfect, 90 degrees, mirror finish again. So for a 90-year-old piece of tool, that'll do good for our house project. And really, yeah, it's window cases, door casings, because when you build a door case, so you need it to be square. You need the wood to not be rainbowy and lumpy, and you're gonna try to fit a door to that. So it's just been in there for 3 years. We moved it in there, and it's never moved again because it's heavy. So that was exciting. Pulled that out. All right, how's our?
I don't know. There's so many out there.
Scare them away a bit.
Yeah.
They go quiet if they think it's raining. All right, so we have some people. Hi. Whoever's here, do me a favor, jump in the chat. Tell us where you are in the world. I just enjoy it. I think it's neat that we get to interact with people all over the world who are interested in our little
crazy adventure.
Yeah, in our crazy adventure. Some live vicariously through us. Some are interested in joining us in this part of the world. Others are. Some of them are related to us.
All right, we have questions. You want to start with questions?
So there was questions that were added to the video. We'll start with those.
All right.
Wait, preface. My wife, in her manner, has pre-read the questions.
Manner.
That's what I said.
What does that mean?
In your manner. Has pre-read them, has somewhat in her mind formulated lovely, fluent responses to the things at hand, thought about it, and composed something of beauty. I have no clue whatsoever and will simply shoot from the hip. So you get two, count them two, perspectives of the well thought out answer and the instant like shock reaction from me.
Shock reaction. Okay. I was wondering at your elevation. I know you have said cows don't work for you due to your land, but if your land was okay for cows, would you have to worry about hoof rot? Have you heard from other farmers around there or seen it as a problem at all? Okay. So, hoof care, I don't think is a thing here. I say that, yeah, it's just not. I don't know if anyone even pays any attention or notices or checks or considers.
I've mentioned it to people who have animals that you have to like trim their hooves occasionally, like the goats, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, that no one trims hooves. No one.
That being said,
there is issues with it. The goats have had issues in rainy season. For the most part,
nothing terrible. Now they have a dry house at night.
That has made a big difference because then they're not all night standing in rain.
Yeah, in mucky water.
Mud.
So we did do concrete for their houses, and they have dry bedding. So as long as it isn't torrential rain, they get a dry period.
Yeah.
People have cows all around us.
And they're just out in the mud all night.
Because of the slope, if we had them here more, it would just it just mucks out something fierce. But people do run cows all over. Down where the ground is a little flatter, there's almost always cows going back and forth across the field. In Loja, there was always cows in the field attached to our house.
I imagine hoof rot can't be too big of a problem because nobody does anything about it?
I have seen, like, you can get products and things for it in the vet Agropecuria, which is the animal feed store thing.
Yeah.
They have dips and sprays and things. Like, it does exist, so I guess it is possible. Sometimes people do have this as an issue. I don't think it's a widespread problem.
I think there's also something to be said for breed of animal and genetics. If they've always been somewhere, I know there are certain pigs that are less prone to hoof rot. Again, our pigs living in absolute muck never had a single problem ever.
No,
They
and
actually
even
have always had incredibly healthy
and
feet.
even like
hooves, feet.
even our older ones, unfortunately, died for different reasons, unrelated. But when we looked at their hooves and we're like,
They're just perfect.
they're beautiful. Like, they're really,
Are they hooves or are they feet?
I don't know. But they're perfect. They're not flaky. They're things like they're healthy and strong and well shaped. We're like,
So I think diet's a big part of it.
they live in muck.
But
Like,
I think diet is a huge part of the health of hooves. I know it's true for goats. I assume it's the same for cows. So I mean, it is a potential problem, but I don't think there's anything to worry about.
we lost people.
No, this is not updating.
Oh, but it used to say 8.
I know, but it's. Don't worry about it.
Oh, now it says 8 again.
Yes, you don't worry about it. It fluctuates. It's slow. Do you want to keep going on?
Yeah, let's burn through these.
And they're having issues with your water purifier. Have you come to a decision about how you'll solve it? That's just our UV light.
Ready? Right now it works great. And then so our answer is to magically take some seeds and plant them in the yard and grow money. No, I don't know.
Well, once we can, we'll just get.
There's not a short answer except for some way of sterilization or purifying. Now there's different methodologies.
Are we just going to get? Wasn't there a UV light that was shorter and would literally just fit in the suitcase?
Yeah. So the 36-inch, which is what we have, which seemed great, like super industrial, like 10 gallons a minute, like crazy good, like ratio of kill. Okay. Suitcase. Think of what fits in a suitcase.
That's important.
Getting a fluorescent 3-foot light bulb shipped in intact.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
There is some LED ones I've seen that are shorter. They're like 2 feet. Literally, the answer is replace the 3-foot with a 2-foot LED one, and that is the only real problematic part of our entire water system.
Everything else is really simple.
Yeah, there's screens. We clean the filter. Sometimes we'll clean that filter 10 times in a day.
It's really bad.
Like, it just, and the water just sort of starts to go out, and we dump the filter, spray it with raw water, put it back on, water's great again. There is filters after that are finer, but the pre-screen was really important to stop clogging up the paper elements. So yeah, that's just, it is by a slightly different unit. And ideally, if we were like suddenly independently wealthy,
too fancy. For the drinking water in my house, I'm assuming you mean when you move here, what type of system would you recommend?
Right. So it depends where you go. Are you doing your own water, or are you like Loha city water?
Or community water?
Well, we hooked our system up to Loha's water, which is supposedly processed water. Bad.
Everything about that water was bad.
Yeah, and the system would lose pressure all the time, and then just backfill.
It was
and then it would turn on and purge air out, and we're like,
ew,
contaminated. So we had stomach problems. We put our filter in, problems went away. Didn't solve the weird stickiness that would happen cyclically.
That was so weird.
Like, you put your arm down,
like you take a shower and you should be clean, right?
And it would like stick like glue.
In the shower with water running on you, you'd be sticky.
So you shower more.
It just makes it worse.
Worse and worse and worse. And
I
then
don't
finally,
know what that was.
You wad yourself into a flypaper ball and go to sleep.
Oh, it's so bad. No idea what that was.
So
still don't want to know.
If it was that,
but if you're going to be, I know you're going to, like, you're looking at property and having a farm. Probably basically
a pre-screen, which is a nice, easy, robust little thing. I have two on there. One is slightly finer than the other. One was Rainbird, $10 at Depot. The other one was one I bought locally. They're just I think one is like a plastic screen and one is a stainless mesh.
We did do a whole video on the system.
We did.
Anyway,
pre-screen, and then through a some sort of sterilizer, and then through a fine filter. If you're somewhere that has something potentially icky, you're going to want to do a carbon filter, which is, again, the cartridges, just the 10-inch cartridges are pretty standard here. Although we found out the ones we had are 10s, and what's available is like 9 3/4.
Oh, that's right. So they don't actually fit.
And it was just, they float up and down. So I had to make some rubber washers to like adapt them, which was just, it's whatever. Yeah, that's it. Now we've added some extra things. We did a whole video. You should check out the video. We added a booster pump because we have low pressure because it's surface water, which means I got a couple extra. I got a check valve so I can run with just the normal pressure, so we don't have to use the pump. And then sometimes when we need the pressure, like to get it up the hill, we flip the pump on. One check valve closes, the other opens, and up it goes. Worked out real well. The only worrisome thing is the UV light. Get one that is like a quality one with LEDs, or even 2-foot tubes. You could get 2-foot bulbs. Come in a suitcase. You can put them in a piece of PVC pipe.
Okay.
All right.
Comments.
One computer fail.
That's fine. Bad. Everything's great. All right. Let's see. Southwest Washington.
Oh.
Rochester, New York. Awesome.
Look at the corners. Now we need like Miami and LA.
Hi from Colombia. It's downpouring here right now.
Oh
boy. Is your water there bad? I live in the mountains and we drink straight from the spring. We have spring water.
Somewhere.
It
is our spring. It is somewhere up our hill. It is further up than we've been able to get to. So
it's on the list to eventually bushwhack up.
We pick it up as surface water some hundreds of meters from where it comes out. If we could get to the source, that's probably better, and then we can drink it straight out of the ground. That would be better.
But we know that we have creatures that play in the water and walk through the water and whatever else in the water.
Yeah.
So we want to.
So we have potential parasites and bacteria and things, bats, birds, crabs. We have literal terrestrial crabs are caught in the water system. So filtered, purified, are totally great. No stomach, and we have at least I have a weak stomach.
We're sensitive.
It used to be when I was a kid, I had a cast iron stomach. Some things happened to me. I lost my cast iron stomach, and now it's fragile.
How is the rain affecting Zamora? It's not really terribly.
It's not too bad. Zamora's.
I mean, I'm sure that the rivers are incredibly full and raging.
But I think it's a normal seasonal kind of like we're having here. We're having slightly less than normal.
Yeah. This area doesn't seem to be super affected.
No, we're actually having a rather pleasant winter as it goes.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It sounds like you have a pulse pump. Maybe do a video on that.
Pulse pump. We did a video on the whole water system. It's a SureFlow diaphragm pump, which is typically RV use, but they're low power, they're reasonable pressure and flow. They last a pretty darn long time. And I got this one to run. It's 24 volts, so it runs natively off my battery pack. even if there was an inverter fail, this was my theory, that we could still then have pressurized water. As it turns out, we have a little bit of pressure coming from uphill, so we didn't actually need it that, but I had to build the whole system without knowing here. So
I mean, we rarely ever use the pump. We only use the
Right.
pump if we need water up the hill.
but I at least wanted to have water in a situation where, like, yeah, say our inverter quit, like we can't also lose water and electricity. So that's what I like the little sure flows. You have to add a separate pressure switch for them. The pressure switch is garbage. It'll quit on you. And then, yeah, they go for years. I got the one that's running our uphill booster pump because we have one pump here and it pumps up the hill. And then I have another pump that will kick on and send it further up the hill to the high pig area and the goats and stuff. That pump has a date on it of 1992. It was in my bus when I bought the bus and had been in use since 92. Yes, it leaks slightly at one of the gaskets. It's still working, and it's doing it outside. So, solid little pumps.
Thank you for the news update. I heard there was some bad stuff in Cuenca the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know, there's all the weather stuff. We've also seen quite a significant amount of crime issues happening.
Guayaquil,
as are to be expected.
the Guayaquil area is in
So
the coast.
bad.
It's having big problems.
With both weather and crime.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Cuenca's had some. Quito has had some issues. I hear about some stuff from the south part of the country, the Peru bordery Zumba kind of area.
Yeah.
And it's creeping. But we are so far in the middle that we are too far from anything and not populated enough to be a target.
Yeah.
Good with that.
Ola from Vilcabamba.
Hey,
I'm sick of all the expats here freaking out about landslides. Get used to it.
it's unstable terrain.
It's gonna happen.
So when, like, I used to work in Tumianuma, so I know the area pretty well. Many days down there. But if you drive around and you look at the hillside and you're like, you cut a road through, and that whole hillside is roundy, like river gravel, river rock, round gravel, sand, and it's just sort of sitting there. That is unstable geology. So once it starts to like fall and slough, it doesn't take much to continue to just fall and slough, and then of course the road down to Malacatos is just keeps falling. But there's a bunch of roads as you leave Vilca Quinara and you head out and you look at some of the cliffs and you're like,
I don't know how you're still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big earthquake, big rain, big something.
I mean, at least here where it's all clay, which is also terrible, but at least things can grow on it, which can hold the hill a little bit.
Any fresh cuts, people do it all the time. They come in and they cut like a fresh road and thing, and you're like,
It's like a last.
And they try to do it so neat, and the excavator drivers get all proud about it, and they cut this beautiful wall and a road and another wall. I'm like, and sure enough, everywhere they cut, just slough, just melts. Water channels it out. Now, if they come in and they leave everything that's growing, and they just cut a road, and you real quick put some gravel on it, keep the water from getting in it. Okay, say hi.
Hi. Is it working again?
Yeah.
I am sorry.
How long was it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
¿Por qué?
Okay.
It's just, my phone just said,
it just failed.
Can't connect. I blame YouTube.
Okay. We're back? Sorry.
Now we're frozen. Or is that just your computer? No.
No, we were just not moving.
Oh. Radio. Yeah, I did
There we
that.
go.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
What was I talking about?
I don't know where we were or where we disappeared. Foraging.
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 Yes.
Forage.
You can forage. Government land. You'll never find out what's government land and what's not government land.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's Podocarpus, there's the national parks. Those are government land.
And now some things they may say specifically in those parks you cannot or you can. I don't know.
There's reserves you absolutely cannot.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Most of the country is owned by somebody who got it from their grandfather and they're not here. I could wander all over these mountains. Had I not lived here, I wouldn't know who owns them because they show up once a year or two just to like look and go, our land is still there, and then they leave. And other than that, like I could wander all over these mountains. I could disappear into the bush and just be like, they just talk about rumors of like we hear noises at night and there's a white man that lives there. You never see me again.
So yes, foraging. You would have to either learn from someone.
The Shuar.
The Shuar.
So there's and they're open to the public. They do like events and things and tourism stuff. That's how they make some of their money, and they get some as like government funded. They have people that have like bush knowledge.
It would be good to have.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
To go and like hang out with those guys and talk to them and be like, one of them they have like an animal thing where they have like exotic animals. Yeah.
Like the ones that we catch on our cameras?
Yeah. And a tapir.
Apparently.
There's a big picture on the buildings. They have like murals everywhere. It's really pretty. All right.
Okay, that was it for our questions.
Sweet.
Unless someone has a question now.
Oh.
What?
Okay. The floor is open. Questions.
Topics. Something. Anything. Otherwise, we're just going to ramble.
That happens.
What are we going to ramble about?
What are we going to ramble about?
I don't know.
Yeah, so much of what we do around here lately, we're trying to figure out videos, and we're like,
we've done that. Or we do the same thing again.
Building a house is a very repetitive task. You work on the wall. You work on the wall again. You work on the wall right next to the wall.
Yeah, just going around.
You work on the other side of the wall. At some point, we're like, how many times can we show that? YouTube, I have gripes with YouTube. We see stuff where people are like, oh, you should this and that. And I'm like, how many videos do we have now? Mm-hmm. Hundreds. So we have hundreds of videos that we've done. But when we look at the traffic, some of the older videos, there's some great information in there.
We have 330 videos.
330.
Wonder I'm tired.
And some of the old ones, zero. Like literally zero traffic. And we're like, the way YouTube pushes stuff, if it's not fresh and current and like trending, dumpster.
Yeah.
Gone. Yes, you could, and I had to find something. Somebody asked me about one of our videos, and I had to find it. Knowing it, made the video, know the name, searching, still had a hard time finding it.
Yeah. It's just the YouTube monster.
So I'm wondering, like, should we literally go back and remake some of our, like, just like...
We should redo some of our first videos, because
we are
loop again, wildly less awkward.
Because nobody's seeing them now. So unless you've been following us for the entire time, like, that's it. They're dead. But some of them are... It's timeless information, like...
Yeah.
It's not just a current thing. Like, we did one on electric fences for pigs. If you happen to need one of those.
I'm doing it again this week.
Everything about that is still valid.
Yep.
And there's nothing really on the internet for it either. Like, we looked. I see texty stuff.
Texty stuff. Oh, no, it wasn't your internet. It was our... I don't know. That was our internet or our...
My phone said...
freaked out.
My phone is what's the video, and it just said not connected.
I have no idea what happened.
So it lost its connection to the YouTube.
Do you have bamboo on your farm?
You do not.
I really, really want the giant stuff.
It's here. We
We drove by a bunch of it today.
There's some up valley. If I walk 10 minutes that way up the road, I got lost once.
Got lost in the river. It was a whole event. There were tires involved.
Oh my god. Told the kid, be very careful. He had to move the stack of the old van wheels and tires, and he was moving it down the drive. I'm like, be very careful. Don't let them get away. Okay, I'm gonna... No, be very careful. And he comes back and he's like, dude, you didn't... He's like, it just started rolling and I thought it'd be okay, and then like, no!
All the way to the river. We never did find it.
No, it went down the road, down the hill, over the gorge, into the river, and he said he saw it somewhere. So I go down into the river, which I have to go down valley and cut in and then come back. So I'm hacking through like brush and things and fighting flies, trying to get up river to find this thing. I don't know where I'm at. At some point I passed our property and I knew like the river comes up and like I missed our little stream and I ended up on a different stream and I ended up the valley, and you lose perspective like when you're down there and it's all overhead. It's actually kind of pretty though too. The river walk was actually, except for the flies, really fun. So then I like hiked out and I'm looking around and I'm like, this is not the view from our house. And
You know, he got completely lost.
Up a different hill and a thing and something and this and that, and I'm like, oh no. Where was I going with this?
Bamboo.
But it turns out if you follow the path that goes up to the water system for the local town, which is past us, there's some big beautiful like bamboo, and you get the giant stuff here. Like some of the stuff in Zamora,
it's so big.
a foot across, and you look and you're like 60, 70 feet high. It's big.
Yeah, I'd like to get some.
Yeah.
We should have to find a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Do a video on shipping stuff to Ecuador. We have.
Well,
if you mean like shipping to move.
Well, we've done shipping to move, but or shipping like just
shipping,
like importing goods, things. Oh.
We don't know. To be fair, we don't know that much.
There's there is a lack of. It's not the same. America has gotten to be very, anything you want, you're like, I need some 1,000 ohm resistors. I'll just order an assortment pack off Amazon and it'll be here by drone in an hour.
I mean, to be fair, we completely remodeled the house mostly off of Amazon. We had
COVID
deliveries almost every day.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. That's good times. So you get used to that kind of thing, and then you get to the stores here and they're like really basic. So it's like, oh, I'm looking for like solar parts. Nada. Or I'm looking for this or that, or a specialty tool, or screws. You can only get drywall screws and cheap lag bolts. Like, what about the nice the self-starting ones with the Torx head, like deck screws? Nope, no siree. Phillips sheetrock. So for importing, you have a couple options. Mules. And by mule, I mean people that move stuff on an airplane. It's $8 a pound. Size limitations, but it comes in a suitcase.
Sometimes what they're bringing limitations. They can only bring certain amounts of things.
One cell phone, one new computer.
Yeah, so they'll usually be like, oh, I have like these things I could bring this date, things like that.
But other random stuff, and you pay them, you ship it to them in Miami. They pick it up, they bring it in, then they reship it here with Servian Trega. It's slightly kludgy. There's some services they call 4x4 programs, which is $400 for less than $400 of value for $40. And there's companies that are set up to do that. Servian Trega has one of their own now, and there was another one that we used, which was...
That was a disaster. I don't remember who that was.
Yeah.
That was I mean, we got the things, but...
It took like...
It was a headache.
A long time. It was a headache, and it was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, we get vitamins and spices and whatnot. That was a pain, but it is doable. But you're going to pay the $40. Amazon has now just done not everything counts, but a lot of things, international free shipping for $99 or more. So I filled like an Amazon cart with a bunch of stuff. Says I qualify for free international Amazon shipping, including duties.
So we'll have to We'll have to actually see if that works when
Yeah.
we have that much
Now,
money.
a few months ago, they had free shipping, or they had $5 shipping,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And some people tried it, and they're like,
It's great. It
"They
works.
literally shipped it here for
And then they
$5."
immediately cancel it.
It was just a test program.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever.
We could do a video on it. We'd have to know a little bit more, to be honest.
We'd have to have money to buy stuff.
To just be able to actually speak to experience, not just like regurgitating someone else's experience.
Yeah.
Day in the life stuff was good. Sunday trips with prices are good. Yeah.
We just did, we're going to do a short, I guess that's not tonight now.
Nope.
Maybe tomorrow. I did some sneaky cam footage at the market, of just from the market, just a short.
Yeah.
We've done a market video where we went through prices.
Well, we did a market video, and then we did what we eat in a week with prices. Which we'll
for
probably
food
do
prices,
again.
look for the what we eat in a week.
Yeah.
We
we'll
buy everything, we pull it out, and we went through every single item with prices.
But we can also do it again.
We can do it
Prices
again.
have changed. Onions are more expensive. Things change throughout the
Corn
year.
has been going up. Eggs had come down, but now eggs have because
bummed about
corn's
that.
been up for a while. The
Eggs will also come back up.
The eggs have now caught up to it. So
yeah. And
when I say eggs have gone up, they went up from $3 for 30 eggs to $3.40 for 30 eggs.
We're spoiled.
Yeah.
Did you see the video I sent on how to make avocado oil? Oh, I never saw a link. Did I miss the link?
I remember talking about it.
But I don't know if I ever saw the video.
You would have told me about it.
I know.
No.
Oh, I either missed the link? I don't know. I'll have to go back and look.
Or
and see if I can find it.
Didn't make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you have it handy, resend it. For sure.
What's our favorite thing to grow? The things that work. Chayote.
Let me go back to avocados for a second. We think from one person we know last week, avocados.
That were possibly the best avocados that have ever existed.
Ever. She put them on my plate, didn't say anything, and I sat there and
You also didn't notice that some of it was missing.
No.
Because I ate it. It was good. Well, it looked different than the other avocados. And we've had really weird avocados. I'm like, I'm going to taste this to see what it tastes like. And then it was really good.
So then you ate more.
Yes. That's true, I did.
Anyway, absolutely just more of the richness of if you were to hard boil an egg, the yolk of the egg, just.
It didn't taste like it like the other ones.
No, we had some that you could have sold them as vegan eggs.
They tasted like egg. It was
just
so weird.
Just like a hard-boiled egg, and we're like that.
It was weird.
If you close your eyes, you couldn't tell. These ones were avocado, but they were just absolutely beautifully
very, very high fat,
velvety, dense, gorgeous, just
so good.
Wow. We think we got them from this guy. We think we just bought some more today. And if it was, there's so many people, and all the avocados are different. It's like every person has different avocados, every
from
time.
Somewhere. We don't know where.
There's not one type of avocado. There's with oranges. There's a lot of varieties.
But his come from Colombia.
But he hoofed them in from Colombia,
which might make them different.
Yeah.
We will see.
If they are, and that was what they were, and they come out that good, I'm going to talk to him about seeing if I get some cuttings of the tree.
Yeah.
Because, the Hass avocados were especially something because of what they were, and it was almost a lost thing. And then people decided they were delicious. Because most avocados are actually sort of green, vegetably watery things, and the Hass ones are sort of delightful. This was more of that again. Yeah. I don't know if it was a commercial thing or just an accident. And sometimes you get some accident avocados that are pretty bizarre here.
Okay, what's your favorite thing to grow?
Oh, yeah, I'll go with the things that work.
Okay, what are the things
we've had excellent luck with chayote.
Love chayote. Gosh, I love it.
Grows and grows and grows.
Super tasty.
Throw a little fertilizer at it. Just just grows up the side of the house, and we love eating it. It's delightful in so many things. It's like probably our most favorite newfound food.
Yeah.
That we should have been eating forever.
I think everyone should be growing it. I don't know why it's this newfangled thing that like nobody knows about.
My friend Dan was like, "Oh, but it's in the squash family. I don't like squash." I'm like, "It's not
like
squash. It's
no passion fruit."
So the Maracuja passion fruit has grown really well out there.
So well at trellis.
Yeah.
But it's really just easy and fun to grow.
Big, gorgeous flowers. Hangs fruit. Wait for it to fall. Thunk, hits the ground. Pick it up. Maybe the next day. Totally fine. No damage. No like bruised spot. It's got a thick skin on it. And then she processes it into syrup.
Yeah.
Man.
Our sweet potatoes are also doing really, really well.
The sweet potatoes are doing good.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those have worked out. One day, yeah, we're avocados. But they,
those
one
day.
Take
a
trees.
Okay. You had a contact who was going to give a free quote or something like that. Yes. Somebody in the U.S. might be able to get me Sorry. I'm clearly tired. Somebody in the U.S. might be able to get me free use solar equipment. I wanted to see if it would be worth it.
Depends. Literally depends. Let's see. So a contact for, I talked to Paul, and Paul, he's like the main guy for importing containers and things for people. He also does commercial stuff. I've sent him some nice people. He likes our people. He said they're really easy to work with, and they're not terrible. He enjoyed the people we've sent him. We had a whole conversation about it. So he says, look, if you want, I'll do a free consultation with anybody you send over. I'm like, okay, great. Contact us. I'll send it over to Paul and be like, hey, here's one of our viewers. Can you help him out? And he said he will. So just send us a note and I'll hook that up.
Yeah. If you want to email us. It's just tinyhandsbigdreams@gmail.com.
Yep. Just email us. And we'll forward it over.
Yeah.
Use solar equipment. Get more information. Look, I'm running used panels. They're great. They're good for a long time. Certain ones, maybe not so much. Some equipment has a lifespan. Some doesn't. Get information, send it to me. I'll look it over and I'll let you know if it's worth it. Because there is a cost to even putting it in the container. Like if the container costs money to ship, you spent money for that space to move it. You want to make sure it's worth it. I can't imagine how all of the parts wouldn't be worth bringing it here, even if it wasn't a primary, even if it was just like a secondary thing, something like that. Panels are a pain. That's a big pallet. It's a big stack.
Just
send me some info.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
We have Serbian Triga. I never order stuff in the US, but I do stuff in huge suitcase when I go back home. Yeah. You did that once. We just don't go.
I went back to the US once. And I came back with a suitcase once.
You came back with
There's a funny story about that. I came back with 2 suitcases.
We stuffed them so full.
On my way out.
Because we knew what we were doing.
Yeah. On my way out, and I was going to get my son, because I had his passport, and he hadn't done an international airline trip, and it's kind of a big deal. I'm like, I'll come and like make sure like you make it okay, because it's like
it's a bunch of hops and
it's a bunch of hops and things, and
Spanish
you got to deal with customs and whatever. So I'm in the airport, and just to save on baggage, I took one medium suitcase and put it in the large suitcase, because I only have like some clothes for a few days. It's not a big deal. And then I only have one suitcase to wheel around. So I'm sitting in the airport. I'm waiting for the plane. We're 40 minutes from takeoff. And they call my name to the counter. I'm like, oh, maybe there's like a seat problem or something, right? And I get up there and there's armed guards. Hi.
No.
Hi. I'm just a gringo. Like, I don't And they're like, "Can you come with us, sir?" Yep. I'm in Quito.
You can't say no.
I think I was in Quito. Okay. So I go with the armed guards, and we go through a secure door, and then downstairs into like a basement. I'm like, I'm boned. This is bad. Like, I don't even have like the 800 number to like the hostage organization. I don't know. So we go down there. There's more guards. Okay. All right. And then there's a bunch of suitcases that are like neatly laid out on a line, and there's 2 tables. And they grabbed 2 other people at the same time. One of the dudes who came down with us looked shady. He was sweating. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
he did something. Some other lady, I don't know. She looks clueless too. And I'm like, So they take the bags and they put them up on the steel tables, and they separate us all out, and there's guards all around with guns. They're like, we're going to search this bag. I'm like, okay.
You picked the most boring thing to search.
I know. And then there's the dude over there who's just sweating bullets, trying to like look nonchalant. And I'm like, I hope they don't find whatever you have hidden there. They didn't either. Like, they let him go.
Which
Trust
is
me.
also sort of concerning.
Yeah. No, man was guilty of something. I don't know what. Anyway, so sometimes I get a little punchy at airports, and
No, I wasn't there to keep you from doing things.
So I decide, I know there's nothing in the bag. Like, it's literally like some shirts and underwear and socks and things. I'm like, whatever.
You didn't even have any food.
No.
You had
I had
nothing.
nothing. So anyway, I know I'm clear. So dude starts to open it. I start looking real nervous. I start looking around. They pick up on it. They're like, oh. And the guy's like, oh. So he starts, like, he gets his zipper, and the zipper, you're going to fight it a little bit, and he looks at me, and I'm trying to look nonchalant. Opens the suitcase all like, like, what's he gonna find? And I go, and there's another suitcase. And he just and he realized I'm just a practical joker.
Oh God.
And then he opened that one too, and there's socks in it, and he just looked at it, and he's like, oh man, I've been had. He didn't even look through it. Like, he just slammed it closed. He's like, you're free to go.
Only you.
Sorry, side story.
Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, if anyone comes and visits us, they're required to bring something that we need. It's kind of like, could you bring this thing?
1,000 blessings if we could get a bottle of liquid soap.
I take bar soap at this point. We're down to like the last third of a bar of soap. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
What's our favorite fruit?
Oh gosh, there's some good fruits.
There's some good fruit.
And here's the funny thing: is you can't just say like, "This is my favorite thing." In the U.S., like, the thing is the thing.
A mango
is
is a mango is a mango.
You go to different stores and it's like the same one. Here, they're like, every batch of mangoes is different.
And there's all these different varieties and
different places they came from. Things like they're just different. It's like potatoes. You love the potato game.
I hate the potato game.
You go and there's like
we have managed to find good potatoes, and we have now tasked the child with remember where the good potatoes were from.
It doesn't mean they'll be there next week.
No.
There's like everyone
At
has
least
like
they'll be there until the bag is gone.
like 5 different bags of potatoes that are all like different colors, sizes, things, and you get them home and you're like, mealy.
Oh man, there's some bad ones.
And then sometimes you're like, oh, that one's pretty good.
Wait, where'd we get that?
Where did we get that? We hate the word we get that game. And then we go back and like they either have more or they don't. As far as fruit, we've had cherimoya. Just when you get a good cherimoya, look for the tiny pinholes where the bugs went in. Meh.
I don't think we've ever had a really good cherimoya after the first time we visited, and we just got really lucky.
We got really lucky. I bought it off some lady on the sidewalk. Like, she literally
just had some.
She had like a fruit crate like upside down, and she had like 3 or 4 cherimoyas, and she was just standing there. Like, that's all she had. They probably grew in her yard.
So good.
A cherimoya, also called a custard apple.
It's not actually a custard apple, I don't think. It might be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There's big seeds, and then you scoop the flesh, and it's
very hard to explain.
You have to get them when they're soft but not rotten. They're delightful. I've had mangoes. I I bought these 3 mangoes that came from somewhere. I think they came from Guayaquil, the guy said, and they were the best I've ever had in my life. And I planted 3 of them, and that way. Those 3 are growing, and they were like little, like an Alfonso or like a cashew mango, small yellow ones.
I think those are like both of you. I can't eat mangoes.
There's
I'm allergic.
so many different kinds of mangoes. Do the skins attached? Are they like super fibery?
But I think that
how's the flesh?
I think
the
you
flavor,
guys
the
both
juice?
agree that mostly the best are the little like cashew, like little like yellow cashew shaped ones.
Huge ones. They're green, red. They're fibery. They're things. Sometimes the flavors are.
We've gotten a lot of good pineapple.
Oh, we get pineapple. If you get some of the local like wild ones, the Criollo ones they call it, you can get and some of the ones in Loja. I've never had the same again. White. It's literally a white pineapple on the inside, and it has a floral aroma. Like you're like.
It doesn't have the same bite.
No.
As like a normal pineapple.
No. Lately, we've been getting a lot of the sugar golden sweets or something.
I don't think we.
Which is a commercial variety, which is yellow sweet pineapples. There's the red pineapples, and they get real big. And the seeds go like deep, so you have to cut extra away.
They're kind of a pain to process.
But they have a really wonderful, unique flavor. So it's like one of those. This one is great for this one. For that variety of that thing on this day from that place. That's amazing. And then not another day. We've had bananas. I've had, we like the Oritos, which mean little gold. Don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. Those. They're just little tiny bananas. They have a different texture. They have slightly different flavors. Some of them like edge towards like a vanilla flavor. They're not like nasty and pithy.
But they're not all the same either.
Like I don't like regular bananas. No. Like the standard commercial banana that everybody eats, like I won't eat them.
But there's also the silk bananas, which I think, I know we've grown them.
Guneo Seda, silk banana. That's what we have growing here. Thick skin, real creamy. Again, different flavors, but there's so many.
There's just more variety of each fruit here.
We've never had a good kiwi here.
No. That's what I was trying to think. I was trying to be positive. No.
Tomatoes are shite.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know. We've had a lot of good stuff. The chayote are delicious and incredible.
It's interesting about Amazon, but here it gets stuck in customs, and they will not deliver or can't read. And they will either not deliver or keep it or make you pay huge fees. Ugh. That sounds so fun.
Oh, that's trying to get Amazon stuff in.
Yeah. You see, I worry about that getting stuck in customs. I know they say it includes all of that, but I worry about it. What about Mercado Libre?
You know,
I guess I've never really explored it terribly much.
We've looked at it. We haven't used it. Is it possible? Yeah. For things, but like we're just like I would really just love a Dr. Bronner's scentless, like I think it's baby soap, and it's just like a 32-ounce liquid bottle of soap. I'm not going to find it locally.
Nope.
It's difficult to ship because it may
explode.
Yeah.
I know. Or some soap nut tree seeds.
If we could get some, we would grow some soap nut trees and make our own soap.
Yeah, that's on the list. Were you able to download that veterinary manual I sent? Yes.
Yes, and it turns out I already had it bookmarked for their web version. And we do reference that on occasion for stuff. Some stuff comes from there. I found some other stuff from just random groups. Unfortunately, geographically, we are somewhat different, and it doesn't always show in the manuals. But some of it actually is pretty good. The last one we drove through, went through heavily was the rabies thing.
And the research.
I know a lot about rabies.
And rabies vaccine.
and transmission routes and things and the virus and the animals and the stuff. Many, many, many hours.
I would like to put it all behind us and not worry about it for a while.
Like I could recite you the 64-page document from the World Health Organization as one of the sources.
Right.
Yeah,
that was quite the debacle. Do we grow grenadilla? You know what? We had some and they just sort of died. I used to eat them a lot.
So they grow really good in Loja.
They don't seem to grow as well here. I think if I got them, like I was thinking about putting them like up our water path where it's cooler. You actually planted some. I have no idea what happened to them. If they're still even up there.
No.
No?
The soil wasn't good up there.
Okay. But I think they just need a cooler spot. They don't really like to be in as much sun as we have.
Yeah.
So if we can find a spot for them.
They'll grow somewhere around here.
Because I really, really like them.
Loja, they grow semi-wild. There's farms of them as you head out towards Valladolid and you start climbing out the valleys. There's huge farms.
Remember trash can grenadilla? Best we've ever had.
We went to the Saturday market in Loja, which is on a Saturday, which was our favorite market. And we just look over and there's a dude with it's like a model of like the big tin trash can, but it's plastic and about this big. And it's brand new and he's carrying a trash can. I'm like,
and he's just like outside the market.
And I'm looking at it like, what's in the trash can? And occasionally people just show up and they just sell things. It's like they're not even a professional vendor thing. And we're like watching and he opens it up and he's got grenadilla. So we go over and we talk to him and it's a good price. I'm like, okay, we'll try some. And we get some and I'm looking at it and
we cross the street and then you're like, try one.
I'm like,
just try one.
Something tells me, try one. So she cracks it open and tries it and she's like, and her and the kids just slobbered it down like heathens. We couldn't get
so good.
A word out of him. She's like, that's like the best grenadilla ever. And I'm like, trash can guy.
Trash can guy.
He was very nicely dressed. Yeah. Nice shirt, pants, things, and a brand new trash can. Like, I guess he just they're probably his property. So we went back. We bought 10 more.
So good.
10 for $1. Yeah.
Do we have snake fruit? Yes, I have seen snake fruit here.
Snake fruit?
Snake fruit. I don't know if I've seen here or Loja, but yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I'll show you a picture later.
Okay.
They're little weird brown balls that sort of look like snake skin. We've seen it.
Okay.
There's a soap plant also. It's a flower. Yes.
Oh, is that the one where it grows like the corn cob looking thing and you can squeeze it?
So the flower, I think.
Yeah, and you squeeze the flower and it's like shampoo.
Yeah.
I think our carpenter has it growing next to his house.
The question is, I don't know if it's savable. Does that make sense? So the soap nuts you can put in a jar with water and it makes liquid soap.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
Or if you have to have a field of the flowers.
You just use fresh. I don't know how that works.
There's that. There's also the landrace problem of while that worked for one variety somewhere, here we get to things where this sort of looks like this, but it's different. We have bananas, and then there's a whole ton of plants that look just like bananas, but they don't banana.
Or we have this tree, and I need to put a video up of it, so maybe someone can identify it. It looks sort of like some variety of a mangosteen, but not quite. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
They sort of look like small pomegranate.
Well, I mean, if you look at mangosteen, it's
orange
very similar.
Flesh inside, and they smell
weird. Like some sort of tropical pumpkin thing.
It smells like tropical pumpkin.
The creatures all like to eat it.
There's not many left on it.
No.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I should eat it. Did you see my comment about Chagas disease? Yes. That's the one that's spread by the kissing bug. You get the bite. Do you know about that?
No.
I don't think that we've been bit by them. I think we'd know. They're creatures. They're like
Oh.
bigger bugs. It's possible.
We get our fair share of bug bites. There is dengue is going around. That's
Dengue's
a thing.
pretty bad here as I kill a mosquito.
Yeah. There's something else that has gone like through the whole town and around that like everybody got sick for a period of time, and it's.
Yeah.
I have been slow to recover. It affected me, and it affected my head.
Well, that might have been the really high fever and the seizure there, my love.
Yeah.
I mean, it does stuff to your brain.
Finally coming back though. Like it's
we're starting to actually
it's rekindling.
Yeah. I want to grow grenadilla too. Similar issues. I think my climate is similar to you. It's probably pretty similar.
Yeah, we would see them up in Hipiro, outside of Loja, and they just grow up and down near the water paths.
Oh, is it zapote? No, it's not. It has the same color flesh, but it's not the same. Our tree. Remember the zapote? They're like greenish colored.
No.
Okay. No, it's different. And that's the thing is, it's different. It really looks like a mangosteen, but it isn't. And I don't want to eat it because I don't know if I should eat it because I'm scared.
Yeah.
There's some stuff out here. I don't know what it is.
We have cacao growing on the property. Cacao grows well here. This is like people argue about where cacao started.
I think it started here.
It could have literally started on our property. It could be in Peru. It could be in Colombia. People argue. It does natively grow here.
We have some of the yellow.
We have yellow. We have red. There's different shapes, sizes. It exists.
Our coffee, like 2 little coffee plants, are totally loaded and starting to ripen.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's exciting.
I have to build a coffee machine to process it.
We've got to get a coffee drying rack up quickly. We did have that in the greenhouse before the greenhouse.
No, I want to wet process them.
Oh, you want to wet? Well, that's good because we can't dry process anything.
Yeah.
We have nowhere to do that. Why didn't I think about such a good idea? Mosquito. She says to take one to the local market and ask someone.
Yeah,
True.
I've
The
thought
problem
of
is
doing
they're
that.
going to say some name that isn't going to translate into what it is.
There's people
and we struggle with that. They use like colloquial terms for a thing, an animal, a fruit, a vegetable, something.
Like the one snake they just call like a rotten leaf.
Like it doesn't translate to anything. I can't like find more. But they'd at least be able to tell me if I can eat it.
Or the animal feed store guy was telling me like he's got something eating his ducks.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it and I'm like, that sounds like a tyra. He's like, what? So I look up a picture of tyra, which only like exists here. It's not like there's no English word for it, or that is the English word. And he goes, oh, and he goes, we call that an aminga.
But if you search Dominga, you're not going to find anything.
It's a tyra. He's like, no, that's the thing that's been eating my ducks. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, could I do this? And I'm like, no, it'll jump over it. Could I do this? I'm like, no, it'll go around it.
I don't really know how to get.
So I told him, like, look, we've occasionally lost a duck and a chicken here and there, and then they sort of don't. They've moved on. We've never lost a piglet. So perhaps the electric fence. We've heard it. The occasional
something hit it.
Something screamed, and we're like, that was not one of our animals. Do not opt for the small electric fence. Get the one with gusto.
Also, it was the only thing that'll keep in some pigs.
There's grass, there's things that happen, there's stuff, and if some wild animal touches that, you want to give them the beans. They won't come back.
Is your cacao producing now? Yeah, we've got.
Yeah, but then something eats them.
I'm pretty sure that's like what is it called? The mouse opossum. They're really cute little guys, but they'll.
Yeah, somebody gets up
It is the mouse opossum.
And digs a little hole in, and then it starts to go bad.
It's also the thing that chewed on my air potato. They're very annoying little creatures.
Yeah.
They climb trees and eat fruit.
Yeah. But there's a lot of cacao that grows around here. There is issues with there's a white fungus that grows on the cacao. I forget what it's called. And and because everyone here has the same thing that's been growing forever, it's not the resistant varieties.
Yeah, which might be an issue. Have you started any moringa yet?
No.
I think we actually have some growing, not by our choice, but if I remember correctly, we do. I don't know. Yeah, they're supposed to be like a superfood, really good for you.
I know. I see it. They sell it in the markets and things. They sell it fresh. They sell it dried. And I don't know. I just haven't tried it.
Yes. Yeah, at least they'll tell me if I can eat the fruit or if I'll die if I eat it, which is kind of my goal.
I don't know. Remember the Spanish plums?
Okay, well, that was a special case.
Would have died?
Would have died.
For those of us who didn't catch the story the last time, Spanish plums, they're like these little green and red plums. They look delightful. They probably do taste delightful. They're the only fruit in the world that has urushiol, active ingredient in poison ivy,
which we happen to be crazy super sensitive to.
We are in the 0.01 top percentage of super highly sensitized reactive to urushiol with poison ivy. Had I just sat there and like, oh, nom, nom, delicious fruit, and then my insides, I'm not sure
what would have happened.
Would have self-destructed.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If Ecuador is like here, there's 5 different words for one thing. Yes. Bag. Can you tell me how many different words there are for bag? And I never use the right one in the right situation or circumstance to the right person. And they look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, I don't know.
There's sacco if it's big. There's fonda, la fonda.
Fondita.
Fondita. Fondito. Funda.
Yeah.
Funda.
There's some other ones.
Yeah, or balso.
I don't know if I've ever used the right one to the right person in the right way that they don't look at me like I'm crazy.
Seems everybody uses their own.
I sort of just look like awkward holding things until someone gives me a bag. I'm like, yes.
There's a guy at the market, and we saw him today, and it's just very nicely laid out, like booth, and there's prices on everything. And it's just really, like, I've like photographed it before. I'm like, I just want to like take, like, your little booth is just like, it's so nicely laid out with all the prices. We don't need any of the stuff you have. It's just all like normal.
It's like dry goods.
Yeah. Your soaps, toilet paper, pasta,
flowers,
whatever. But he always like, he sees us from a distance, and he always goes, "Good morning."
He's really nice.
Hello, and then I say hello, and then we stopped we bought some black beans from him today, and then so I asked him like, "Oh, like, do you speak English?" He goes, "No," like just like good morning. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's okay. My Spanish is terrible. I don't speak much of it either." But he practices good morning on me every Sunday.
Yep.
He sees the gringos at like 50 feet. Little kids do it too.
They seem so happy.
They learn it in school, that like nobody speaks it. So then they say to me, they're like, "Oh, that guy."
If you ever go to the doctor and they do a blood test, they can check for that as well, the Chagas.
Oh.
The primary infection can come and go, and you may not notice it, but 10 or 20 years later, not good. Oh.
Okay.
Well, we had those in Tennessee too, I think.
All right.
I don't know.
I'll check into it. I'll read up on it. I could ask the local nurse to see if there's been local cases of it.
Yeah. I just got 6 cacao trees and planted them. Finding them was not easy.
Which kind?
Yeah.
Which kind? Were they just like cacaos? Because there's places all over we can just buy cacao. But I don't know that they're like known types. No. Or they're criollo, or they're like the yellow.
But criollo is like a catch-all for like it grows.
No, I want like the BY number 112, like official known strain, resistant to like fungus thing, something.
Not a chance. Moringa tastes like grass. Mmm. Tasty.
Tasty?
You eat it, why? Health benefits? I don't know what the health benefits are, to be honest.
Usually we save that for the goats.
The grass? Goats don't eat grass. Except for ours. Like the one that got free and ate all the grass today.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about.
People say that on the internet. They're like, goats don't eat grass. They
don't.
eat hay.
Well, or they eat like browse and trees and things. I'm like, you try to tell my goats they don't want the grass.
And you have to provide them water. You're like, wait a minute. Hay
plus water. Put
them back together. Grass.
Are you in the area where they speak Quechua?
No, they speak Castellano?
I don't
Castellano? Dang it.
No.
It's like a version of Spanish. Casta something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She says I was in El Coca last year, and the locals had a mix of Spanish and Quechua. I speak Spanish, but I could not speak to him because of his dialect. We have that all the time. We feel like we can at least communicate with people okay, and then their specific dialect, I'm like, I have no idea.
And then they get in like, well, just like, I mean, we found this in other places, is anytime you get off into the country, they just get into like a mumble speak.
Like when we moved to Tennessee and I couldn't understand a word anybody said to me for a while.
Yeah. And then I hear like an advertisement on the radio and I'm like,
it's so clear.
I totally get that. They said all the words correctly.
We probably the exact same thing too. Do you hear any of these words for bag? Sacco, balso, bolsa.
Yeah.
Morale? No, I haven't heard that one. I don't live in a cocoa producing area. I'm a bit elevated. I got whatever trees the guy got me. They're green and have red leaves. Yeah. That's good.
There you go.
That's good.
I will say, interesting note on the cacao. Our cacao around here are delicious as a fruit.
Which is weird. I had no idea.
It turns out it's weird. So if you just crack them open and you just eat the pulp, it is like this incredible, complex, sweet fruit punch mix thing. It is unplaceable, incredibly delicious and familiar. It's literally like a whole bunch of fruits all in one. It's just delightful. And then as I'm reading through, I have a whole bunch of books that we might get into chocolate as a business at some point. So I have all these fat, like research, like businessy kind of great books, and going through all the types. And then a very few of them mention the taste of the cacao as unpleasant or bitter or astringent or this or that, or like people don't eat it. And I couldn't really find anywhere that described the cacao that grows around here that is absolutely incredible just to eat raw and fresh. Not the chocolate, just the pulp around the seeds. So that's interesting. But this area is interesting for that. The cacao is special, which is why we may get into something chocolate. And the sugarcane is absolutely phenomenal. It creates a panela, which is just the raw sugarcane that tastes more like toffee or caramel.
So good.
You can literally just take a piece of it, and it's just the raw juice from sugarcane cooked down, and you throw it in your mouth, and it's like a butter toffee candy. It's complex and creamy and delightful. It doesn't have any right to be all these things. It's just sugar, right? And it's just this area. There's something about it.
I have had great technological failure.
And the computer finally go?
It just disconnected.
Yeah.
We're losing. I can't reconnect it.
Let me make sure that this is still on.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, we're still going.
I'm gonna have to restart my computer.
All right.
We're still here. I just can't see the chat for a second.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi card in the computer is on its last legs. She disconnects a lot. We restart it.
And now my phone has decided this.
It's probably $15 or $20 for a new one, but
we're gonna have to budget that in the next little bit. You don't need to eat as much. It's fine.
So anyway, so yeah, the sugarcane and the cacao are special to this area. We've heard people from Loja, which is a few hours away, will come out here to buy panela and take it back for eating at home in restaurants and things because it is simply better than anywhere else. I didn't realize it at the time when we were talking to people who were in the restaurant business. Yep, this is it. This is the epicenter for those things to be really good.
We also happen to have what I think is even like better for this area, panela, that we buy.
Yep.
I
for all the ones in this area, we've tried them, and then there's this one old guy.
It's funny.
And he's always like, "Oh, you needed two," or like, "No, we needed one." He's like, "No,
that much sugar.
You needed two." And he always tries to sell us two.
I'm trying to sell it to us every week.
And it's is it a pound or a kilo?
It's a pound.
Okay.
I think it's a pound. I've always assumed it was a pound. I have always assumed it was a pound.
It's either 1 or 2.2.
I'm pretty sure it's a pound.
Anyway, it's $1.25. Used to be $1, and at some point it went up to $1.25.
I think it's $1.50, and he sells it to us for $1.
No, and then because like something, and then I think he charges people now $1.50, and I just hand him $1.25, and he's like, yeah, okay, and he still just takes it. But he's probably made it his entire life. He's probably just barely scraping by selling this stuff that takes a ton of time and labor to produce for $1.25 a pound. As do a lot of people here. But he does a heck of a nice job with it. Like, it's really delightful.
All right. Back.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you can take that pulp that's so delicious and blend it up and make popsicles. And there's no way you're getting it off that without chewing it. I gotta chew it off.
Yeah, there's the seed, and then it's just sort of like stuck to the seed.
Which is kind of the same as like, there's a bunch of pods here. There's ice cream beans and like all of their crazy varieties of different, which we have names for, but are not their official names.
Yes, there's churros. They're not really
the
churros.
Official name.
They look like a churro, but they're green and they can be like 3 or 4 feet long. But it looks like a churro that grows on a tree, and we're like, green churro. And again, there's a seed inside and there's pulp around it, and you basically just pull the seeds out and you just sort of chew the flavor. Like, you don't even really want the pulp. You just sort of like chew it up until you get all the flavor and juices out of it, and they're just delightful. Ice cream beans are looks like a flat bean pod about this big that you could use as a medieval weapon.
Some of them are so big.
You could kill people with them. Like, they're really hard. And they have these huge seeds, and again, just like you just sort of like chew the outsides off the seed. You can still plant the seed. They're still good. You can still do that to cacao, it turns out. You can eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Nom, 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 nom. And then you can still plant the seed.
It's great.
And they pop just fine.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that your mouse running around?
What are you talking about?
You got a bug.
Bug.
Oh.
There we go.
I thought her mouse was just wandering. All right. What other questions?
There's no more questions. Yep, the ice cream bean tree is so fun. Yeah, we had one.
That's a story.
I'm still upset about it.
It was huge and beautiful. We ate the fruit off it. The guy who sold us the property showed it to us.
And he like went up and like got a bunch and like sent us home with a huge sack because it's like the kids' favorite.
Yeah.
And we were so excited. Oh, we're gonna have one, and it's
we
already
made sure
established.
Like the driveway went around it and didn't touch it. And then they had this excavator driver who's just a cowboy, and he's just clang, 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 and he's just ham fisting the controls, and he's going off like don't go off the driveway. Don't just tear up the hillside.
Like, we're trying to keep it.
Like, yeah, like just the driveway, please. And then finally, and he just swings the thing around, just bang, and just knocks the whole tree down. I am normally very calm and mild-mannered and like, well, and I talk through things, and I was written up at a job for being overly calm and not losing my shit. I lost my shit.
I was not here to see it.
About 7 big burly Ecuadorian dudes backed up. They went from working just like,
Ringo's mad about the tree.
Dude, and he went from like, oh, he's all cocky and things and this and that, and I threw him out of that excavator, marched him right off the job site.